Hi, it's Helena. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about why smart people struggle to get promotions. Now, you have the degree, you have the education, you have the experience, but you're not getting promoted. And it's because you believe that your work will speak for itself. And your work speaking for itself does not give you presence in the company. I know because I recently got a promotion. And I was at the company less than a year. I have been working and doing my own business for the past 15 years, still have my business, a training and development business. I'm coaching a lot of you so that you get promotions. My promotion came with like a $30,000 increase. Just started at the company. So it boiled down to presence. And so let me give you the real deal. Let me give you the real deal about how I got this promotion, okay? And I know you guys can be so mean, so I'm just going to tell the truth. The truth, the whole truth, is and nothing but the truth. So I've been working with the company for a year, basically 3 people that I report to. So I'm responsible for internal communications. And the 3 people that I report to, one is operations. That boss, this is before I got this promotion, that boss was an angel. And then I worked with the wicked witch. So the other person, so she was responsible for operations. The wicked witch, the other person that I work with, we can call her something else, but that's the nicest way I can define her. But she was responsible for nursing education and also part of operations. And then the third person that I reported to is finance. You always have to have a finance guy or girl that will approve your budget so you can get things approved that you need in operations, because I was also part of sterile processing and supply chain. But anyhow, I'll wrap this up. I'll never forget. It was a day we were having a big executive leadership meeting, and some of the C-suites came over that I hadn't met. So some of our executive leadership team I had never met in person. I had only seen them on Zooms or our Teams meeting, and I was excited about meeting because they're, some of the highly respected physicians that are C-suite executives, that are some of the medical officers. And I was excited. So I'm coming in from grabbing a refreshment, but the wicked witch, let's call it the wicked witch, she's fake washing. They're in the coffee break room. She's fake washing her coffee cup. As I'm walking into the space where these guys are just all, because it's predominantly men, and they're just, talking amongst themselves. And the finance guy that I report to, he says, "Oh, I want to introduce you to Helena Paschal." And I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I get a bunch of handshakes. And then one of the guys that we all basically report to, because he's over pretty much everything, he says, "Oh my gosh, bless your heart, the amount of work that you do." And here comes my the little wicked witch, the one that was pretending to wash her coffee cup. I'm like, how long did it take to wash a coffee cup? Okay. She comes over and says, ChatGPT can do that. My eyes bucked up like a deer with headlights. Their eyes bucked up like a deer with headlights, because she could have basically said nothing. I had never done anything to this woman, but she's just one of the people that just will step on neck. She likes to be the bully. She likes to feel like she can intimidate somebody. She can threaten somebody. She can make people's day miserable. And she's been trying to step on necks and backs to get ahead. This woman is never going to get ahead. Never. But anyhow, so what the guy that was giving me the compliment, so before I could even say thank you, he says, "Is this satire?" Which I don't know. We all got the point, like, is this a joke? And it was one of those things that I was caught so off guard that I'm like, I wish it could, but it can't do my job. And I just walked away. But it's one of those times when, you wish you could go back and say something else, because, the audacity, the disrespect that I felt, I was on fire. But I walked away, went back to my office, went into the meeting. At the end of the meeting, she was so dead serious about this whole ChatGPT situation. She came into my office and she said, "Yeah, Helena, I seriously don't understand why you're not using Copilot. I paid for the licensing for you." I said, "I use Copilot, but it can't do my job." So I don't understand why. So it just became a running joke in my department, because anytime she asked me to do something, or anybody else, I basically said, have Chat GPT do it. Okay, so I'm gonna get to the point. That same day, I applied for another job in the company. I'm like, I'm not working here. She had done a million other things, but I had never been disrespected in front of that level, that high level of leadership. The next step that would be where I'm headed to, because right now I'm just amongst the directors, but I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out with the C-suite. So I applied for a C-suite, internal communications leadership role. I got called back in 2 days for an interview. They set up an interview. That next week, I thought they were calling to confirm this interview. So I applied within a company, but not within my department anymore. I was like, forget y'all. Because nobody really spoke up. It was just shock. And then the guy saying, it's a satire. So I was like, okay, y'all ain't even got my back. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to get another job. So I thought they were confirming this new department. We're confirming it, but they said, hey, Helena, we've already heard such great things about you in the company that we want to go ahead and set up your second interview, which will be with the panel. And they gave me all the names of the C-suite executives that I'd be interviewing with. And I said, okay. So before I even interviewed, I already had a good reputation. And it's because I made sure, and I've mentioned in other videos, I made sure that even though I have an office, I did not just go to my office, go get my coffee, go to the office, because I'm an extroverted introvert. So I come across really outgoing, but I like to be alone and do my work and then give it to you, because my boss is an angel. The previous one, it was an angel. We literally would meet for like 20 minutes a week. I only see her like almost once a week. And then the following week, I give her back all the things that she requested. Like I had pure autonomy to do what I needed to do. That's what I prefer. Even though, love networking and meeting with people, I prefer to be in my office and getting my work done. I prefer having my door closed, even though we had like an open door policy. I prefer just getting my work done. But I know in order to move up and even in order to just get the respect that you need, people need to know you. So if you think your work is going to speak for itself, because if I just kept closing the door and just doing my work and just sending it over to my bosses, the people that I report to, I would never have gotten that promotion. That promotion is on a whole, it's like over 100 sites that we have. It was on a whole nother side of the world. I was commuting 7 minutes to my job. This place was 30 minutes from my home. So for them to get to know and me have a good reputation after only being in the company for a year, it's because I met people. And the first people, I told in another one, the first people I meet are IT. That's the person that's going to do, I would say, who's going to keep this laptop going? I meet IT, first the service people. Who, where do these work orders go to? Who's going to, take care of me, my IT, because I'm definitely need a relationship with them, because I know it's always going to be some kind of tech issue, if not every day, every other week, or something. It's going to be something. And then I make a relationship with finance, who's responsible for my reimbursements, who's responsible for accounting on up, but who's responsible for the reimbursements, who's responsible for my checks, making sure those things are processed. But then I ask them from those two departments, who's hiring over here? Who are the CFOs over here? Who's the CEO over here? Who's running this department? Who do you know? Do you know the VP? Can I meet them? Do you know? I'm asking these other departments, who do they know? Who are the decision makers? So I can introduce myself. I did that. I met IT, finance, facilities management. I met all the senior executive admin assistants. I met everybody. I introduced myself. I went to their events. I asked if they needed help. I got a $30,000 promotion after already getting 2 increases in the job. So the reason why you struggle is because your work cannot speak for itself. You have to speak for yourself. You have to make an impression on the decision makers. And I know people say, well, you should just have your own business. I have my own business. And guess what? People don't tell you. In your own business, you can experience burnout. I went back and got a job after being in my own business and still have it. I'm coaching and I'm having a national tour coming up on how to command the room and lead like a speaker. Helping other people, STEM degrees, executives, directors, people stuck in management. I'm the one helping them. because I have my business. But guess what? I experienced burnout because I was working around the clock and I wanted to just have a job that was 9 to 5 so I could clock out and just be at home and be available for my daughter as a working mom. So yeah, you can have your business, but you can experience burnout in your own business. Who do you think who's going to be your clients? You still got clients. You think, oh, just get a trade and just start a business and you're not going to have to deal with people? You deal with even more people when you have your own business. Okay, my last point is how you command the room. Since I am going to be doing this tour just quickly, a couple minutes of your time, is making sure when you speak that you speak and you have a pause. Try to eliminate the fillers. I speak with so much confidence. Even when I was interviewing for that promotion, I speak like with the most certainty. I know I can do this. I know it, okay? But try to speak with a sense of power, speak with a sense of certainty. And I'm going to do another video on some of the communication gaps that you may have that are holding you back. But just because you're smart does not mean that you know how to really leverage the company, leverage your presence. So you will need to build some cross-functional relationships. I can't emphasize it enough because I know some people just copy and paste it onto their resume as just jargon. But no, it's a real deal that you need to have cross-functional collaborations with the entire company. That way you can move up and across or across and up, but you don't have to stay stuck in that department. I refuse. I'm going to tell you one thing I value being respected. People ask, do you value love or respect? I actually, and this they trigger some people, I value respect. If you respect me, that's love to me. But if you love me, you wouldn't disrespect me, would you? But then it varies, right? But I value respect. I value my work ethic. I value my brand. And I wouldn't even let my daughter be disrespected the way this woman did me. So why would I go from being a CEO of my own company to letting somebody disrespect me in front of all the chief medical officers at our company, in front of the CHRO, CFO, CEO, the president? What? I left. And so I'm like, oh, so how's ChatGPT doing now in the department? They had to hire somebody as fast as they could, and it's still taking them forever to find somebody to replace me. But ChatGPT, ooh, I took that one personal. But anyhow, love to help you if you need help with coaching, if you need help getting out of that position, because if you're sick and tired, I understand. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, let me help you get out of that job into another better, higher paying job. Because I do deal with high achievers that want to go from high performance to high level leaders. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts. What did you have to do to get out of that job? Were you able to get the promotion that you wanted, the increase that you needed? Or was it just enough just to be done with this particular boss, like a boss that was driving you crazy? Love to hear your thoughts. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.